Welcome, Medford High, to our annual Black History Month Assembly. This is brought to you by the Medford High Black Student Union. So, I'm Melissa Antoine, the voice of Medford High. Who are you? Who can argue?
You don't know who I am? I'm him.
Make some noise for Henry.
Yo, go pop that balloon from my way.
Alright, on this lovely Friday evening, the Black Student Union has put together the aspects and culture of what it means to be black. We're going to have speeches, we're going to have dancing, and we're going to have some costumes, even. Are y'all ready?
Are we ready?
Come on, come on!
Wait, I have a question. Where are ninth graders? I can't. Where are they?
Y'all got no energy. Where are my ninth graders? Alright, that's better, that's better. Alright, where are our sophomores? Where are the juniors? Our junior seniors, yeah!
Where are my
Where's the best class of Medford High? The seniors! I love the energy, I love it, I love it.
Anyway, first off, we would like to welcome Mr. Fallon, the principal and director of Medford Vocational Technical High School.
Good afternoon, students, faculty, and guests. Thank you for your presence today. I'd like to welcome our Mayor Brianna Lungo-Kern, our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Edward Benson, and other guests that have joined us today. Our program today includes song, dance, poetry, and a fashion show, all of which will focus on the beauty of African American culture. I hope you all walk away today with an appreciation of Black history and can reflect on what you learned as we celebrate Black History Month. Please provide your undivided attention to our presenters who worked very hard. Guys, I'll wait till everyone's ready. Thank you. I hope you all walk away today with an appreciation of Black history and can reflect on what you learned as we celebrate Black History Month. Please provide your undivided attention to our presenters who worked very hard in preparation for this event. Thank you to all the performers, and I hope you all enjoy the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fallon.
Thank you, Mr. Fallon. Right. Also referred to as the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing was a handwritten. Lift Every Voice and Sing was a hymn written as a poem by the NAACP. The leader, James Weldon
That was beautiful. That was a very heartbreaking song. Now, are y'all ready for some fun?
No!
I'm sorry. I was testing my luck here. Are y'all ready for some fun? Yeah. All right. Presented by the BSU, we have some dancers for y'all. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Introducing the BSU opening dance. Come on, baby, come on, baby, come on, baby, come on, baby, come on.
All right. Now please give a warm welcome to our superintendent, Marie Edward Nixon. We're saying the superintendent for last. That is for last, right? So I'll go first. Mayor Brietta Kern here. Just want to say good afternoon, Medford High School. Thank you to BSU and the advisors for inviting me to be a part of the celebration of Black History Month. I know you want to get some more music and dancing to celebrate, but I'm just going to speak for a minute or two, give you a little history about here at Medford. This is a wonderful program that the school puts on, and I'm excited to see all that's in store. We've been celebrating Black History Month all throughout the community, and it's truly inspiring to hear from so many people about the importance of uniting us as a community and recognizing the achievements as well as the struggles that our Black neighbors have endured. I'm proud that our city is diverse, inclusive, and forward-thinking. I want to thank our DEI Director, Frances Wajay, for her work to ensure that Medford is always attempting to serve our community members with respect and kindness. Black history is our history, Medford's history, and we have deep ties to the past, both uplifting and demoralizing. The city was a stop on the Underground Railroad. Duggar Park is named after Lieutenant Colonel Edward Duggar, who fought in World War I. It is the first park in suburban Boston named after an African American, and it's right here in Medford. Medford is also home to the Royal House and Slave Quarters. We have now used this relic of our past to highlight both the abomination of slavery as well as to celebrate the significant contributions of Belinda Sutton. Belinda was an African-born woman who was enslaved by the Royals. Belinda successfully petitioned for a pension from the Royals and is among the earliest narratives by an African-American woman. Her narrative is seen by some as the first call for reparations for American slavery. We cannot run from our history. We must embrace it and learn from it. We're learning how to be a better city, better school system, more compassionate, and more inclusive. And knowing the passion and determination that our students have for creating a better future for all, with that, I know that light is ahead, and it's bright. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Lovell, for those great words.
Are y'all ready for some soca?
All right, for those who don't know, soca is a blend of African and East Indian rhythms. It is a dance that has a rich history of Black people, and it is one of the most staple cultural dances or type of dances
I can't resist sometimes, so I just want to give a shout out right now to my seniors. So seniors, June 7th will be here sooner than you can think. But I'm so happy to be here to celebrate with all of you. Black History Month celebration. I want to give a great shout out to our BSU advisors, to Miss A and Miss Jackson. Please wave so everyone can see you. And where's Mr. Delarusso? Mr. Delarusso, thank you. Mr. Delarusso. Thank you for being great advisors to the BSU here at Medford High School. So in preparation for today's remarks, Ms. Walker, I want to thank you also for the leadership and guidance that you've been giving to the students all along. And I know that as you kind of talked about the theme of this year being about change agents, I wanted to take a few minutes to actually just share with you who some of the great change agents are from Medford. We heard from our mayor. She gave us the names of some change agents, but I think that this is really important because these were normal people who ended up doing extraordinary things, and they became change agents for the world. So many times I've spoken to you in Medford, in particular West Medford. It's one of the oldest African American communities in the entire United States of America. And that community was established in the early 1800s, just after slavery. I talked about in the past about the Underground Railroad and the wonderful abolitionists that were here in Medford, George Stearns and Lydia Marie Child, where people know her for her famous poem Over the River and Through the Woods. But she wrote a book called An Appeal in Favor of That Class of Americans called Africans. She was an abolitionist. But I also want to tell you about some change agents of African descent that came through Medford and made an impact not only in Medford but beyond. I'm going to talk a little bit right now about Prince Hall. He was born in Barbados, and I know we have students here that are of Bayesian descent. When people were wearing their flags on Wednesday, I talked to one of our students. He was born in 1735, but he came to Boston at the age of 17, and he settled in Medford at the age of 25. What he ended up doing, he bought real estate, and he ended up joining the Continental Army. What I can say to you about Prince Hall, he served as a change agent because he started the Freemasons, and he used his status to help liberate slaves. So Medford was part of his story, and his story was part of freeing slaves. If you go into Boston, in a section called Roxbury, Grove Hall in particular, it's a predominantly African American community in Roxbury. There is a hair school there called Lyon School of Beauty Culture. Elizabeth Oliver Newton started her business in Medford. And from Medford, she was the first African-American person to be able to open a hair school for African-Americans, because at that point in time, they weren't accepted. And she was a hairstylist. So she's just someone that I wanted to just highlight as someone who came through Medford, but ended up creating an establishment that supported African-Americans and or Afro-Caribbeans to do something that they wanted to do when it wasn't accepted. And if you're in the Grove Hall area, between Blue Hill Ave and Warren Street, her hair school is still there. I also want to just, because you know, I may have said to you, I grew up in West Medford.
in West Medford. Mr. Charles Booker, he was the first African-American firefighter in the city of Medford. Mr. Alonzo Fields, he was the chief usher. He served 5 presidents of the White House. Then there was also change agent, Mr. Ansel Alexander, known as Bud Colbrink Jr. He was an orphan, and the city of Medford reunited him with his mother and siblings. He went on to serve in World War II, and he was so appreciative of what the city of Medford did. As an adult, in 2003, he donated $100,000 to bring new play equipment to the Duggar Park community, because that was where he grew up. So as I think about change agents and people who make a difference in the world, I think about all of those people who make a difference who have come through Medford. So I want you to know that Medford has a rich history. All of you who are in here are part of Medford's history. I am part of Medford's history, and so are you. I encourage you to know that just because I mentioned a few change agents, I want all of you to know that you can be change agents of tomorrow as well. So I want to close with a quote from Dr. Mae Jameson. She was the first African-American astronaut to fly on the space shuttle. She once said, "Never be limited by other people's limited imaginations." Dr. Jameson speaks the truth. And I want to thank you, Mustangs. Happy Black History Month to you all.
Thank you, Dr. Edward, for that lovely speech.
Let's give a warm welcome for our next guest speaker, Mr. Brian Owen.
Mr. Owen is the Senior Vice President of Retailing Strategy. He will be telling us how he navigated through the white spaces of retail as a Black man. Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Owens. I grew up in Arlington, Massachusetts, right next door. So don't use that against me. But why I mention that is that growing up as a Black man or a Black child, my family is 4th generation African American in Boston. Talking about Roxbury, they're from Roxbury. I know a lot about West Medford because I spent a lot of time in West Medford at the basketball courts as a kid in the summertime. Probably talking to someone, trying to talk to a nice female here and there, back in the day, way back in the day. So I say that because part of this speech I'm going to make today is about experience, my strength, and my hope. The topic's about being a change agent, and why I mention that is because growing up Black in Arlington, or just Black in Boston in general, one, education's everywhere you go, right? My mother, who just passed away a year ago from pancreatic cancer, was a teacher. She was a assistant superintendent of Boston Public Schools. She was an assistant principal. She was a principal. She was a 1st grade teacher, 2nd grade teacher, 3rd grade teacher, 4th grade teacher. All I gotta say is education's at the foundation of everything we're about. So one of the reasons why I'm mentioning a change agent is because of education. The ability to be curious, ask questions, be around other folks, understanding how to relate to other people, are one of the advantages I have in business too. Part of what I do now, how many people use TikTok? How many people use Instagram? All right, I work in advertising, so one of my clients is Coca-Cola. So how many people watch the Super Bowl this year? How many people like the Dunkin' Donuts commercial? How many people like that Tubi commercial? All right, that's all right. Well, 3 out of 4 of those commercials my company made. All right, I work for the world's largest advertising and communications company in the world. So if you're looking find ways to make money for you. So why I say that is because education has changed the game. So if you are a change agent, even if you're in high school right now, you can be a millionaire. Did you guys hear me? I'm saying, if you're in high school right now, and you understand who you are, understand your own personal story, and you have a following, you're able to make money off of that. Alright, why I say that is because if you don't understand who you are, what you're about, it's very hard to know where you're going. So as a change agent, as being a person of color in this community, you're forced to really understand who you are and your own personal story. So my experience growing up in this community was very difficult. Part of the reason why I was successful growing up in this community is because I played sports. So I graduated from Belmont Hill School. I played ice hockey. I went to college for ice hockey. Full scholarship. I also went to scholarship for football. I played football, Division I football and Division I ice hockey at Colgate University. I mention that because I got a full scholarship to Belmont Hill. Why? Because my mother was an educator. She understood the power of education. She understood that that school lacked diversity. And because of that lack of diversity, I had an opportunity. Because of that opportunity, I couldn't mess it up. Right? So instead of saying, I'm not going to play ice hockey, I played ice hockey. And because I tried something I wasn't very comfortable with, I became very successful at that. I also played lacrosse. I also ran track. I mention these things not because they're, just 30 years ago, 25 years ago, way past being an athletic person, But the point is, that foundation, that story, gave me the ability to understand people from Canada, people from Russia. I've been called the N-word by probably 20 different languages when I played ice hockey. I got in a lot of fights when I was a young kid. And after a while, I just started scoring goals. When you start scoring goals, you start getting recruited. When you start getting recruited, you start getting scholarship offers. You start getting scholarship offers, and professional players start looking at you. I actually played a little professional hockey too. I mention all these things because now, where my strength comes from is from my failures. I mentioned a lot of things about myself, right? Oh, this and that, right? Because of those things, being a person of color, that ego, my ego got too big. So being a person of color, thinking I was better than everybody else, once you start playing sports and you stop getting attention, you start to struggle. And if you don't have a community of people that you identify with, you struggle by yourself. And when you isolate yourself, you get depressed. When you get depressed, you suffer from mental health. And if you have bad energy, you probably pass on bad energy too. So you make everyone around you miserable. I dealt with that for a very, very, very long time. Why I mention that? Because of that experience, I now have strength. I got through it. Now I have faith. Why do I have faith? Because I can look back at those experiences as a person of color, surviving it, and being able to help anybody, even anyone your age right now, understand who they are and their personal story. There's a lot of hope in that. What do I mean by hope? Well, I mentioned how many people here use TikTok or Instagram. I'm now in the business of creating strategies for big brands like Coca-Cola, Advil, Tylenol, what else do we have going on? Powerade. These are big global brands that I work on right now to help these folks understand themselves. And we're looking at folks like you, often, and looking at more diverse audience. So part of what I'm doing right now is helping black and brown businesses go to market. So if you're a small business owner, and you're on, if you're working on a direct-to-consumer, like an e-commerce site, part of what my job is to help brown companies become as big as $1 billion as fast as they can. So part of what I'm doing now is taking that privilege I had of all those schools, growing up in Arlington, growing up in Massachusetts, frankly. You all don't even understand how much of an advantage you have growing up here and going to school here compared to if you were anywhere else in the country. Why do I say that? Because if I say I'm from Massachusetts, my resume speaks for itself because people respect the education of this city as well as this community. So now when I'm actually teaching people, because now part of my job isn't about making money. Part of it's about making money. But the people that are very successful as an SVP or CEO or EVP or all these high level are folks that are teachers. People are able to teach something, to master something. If you can master something, you can make money off it. Point blank period. So the more you understand what your personal brand is, and if you can't teach it, you don't really know it. That's what I was told as a child. So the ability to understand something in a way where you're mastering it so you can actually instruct somebody. You do a lot of that on social media, helping other people, using videos to teach other people. Those are all teaching moments. I share that because there's a lot of hope. If you're having a hard time in school, do it anyway. Why? Because once you get done with it, you have a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money on your own personal brand. You spend enough time learning yourself. So as a person of color, if you're black in this room, if you're brown in this room, keep doing it. Keep learning. Because the more you're able to identify with the people that don't look like you, as well as understand your own personal story, there's a lot of money in that, as well as help somebody else. You guys hear me?
Yes.
Help somebody else. Stop thinking about yourself and help somebody else, because that energy comes back. And the more you're able to help somebody else, your community gets stronger, your mental health gets better, and everyone around you can win. Because I'm around people winning. I don't know about you. I like to win, and I want to make sure everyone in this room can win too. So I can be of any help to anyone, person of color or not, please hit me up. I want to thank Assistant Principal Walker for asking me to speak here. Have a answer any questions.
I've known Brian for over 20 years, and I'm always very inspired and encouraged by him.
All right, before we bring on the next speaker, I just want to ask a quick question, if I can get a raise of hand. How many of you know who Ashley Burns was? Just a raise of hand. Does anyone know who Ashley Burns was? Yeah. All right. Ashley Burns was an alumni here at Medford High, but sadly she died in a shooting accident. There's a tribute to Ashley Burns that is right outside the gym. Y'all walk outside every day, and this is a story that should be known. And people who wrote this tribute are here, my two cousins, Naomi and Philip here. We can get right to the party.
Can you hear me? Mic check. So my name is Phil Laguerre. This is my sister, Naomi Laguerre. We were both students here. We graduated back in 2009, 2010. Since then, I went to UMass Boston for biology, worked at Apple for a little bit of time, and now.
Mic check. Oh. After UMass Boston, I worked at Apple for some time, and I currently do IT support for executives at a pharmaceutical company in Cambridge. This is my sister. I grew up driving. I ended up going to school for too much change for a year at Tufts and decided that I wanted to do architecture instead. Went very far away in Medford, but I work in architecture now in Boston. So yeah, brief history of my time here. I grew up in near Berry Park. I grew up in a lot of different things. I grew up in orchestra since 3rd grade at the day school. It's not even school here anymore. But through 12th grade, I played music. I now play the bass guitar semi-professionally. I teach. If I learn the bass, let me know. But during my time here, I was into poetry, and the summer coming to freshman year, my friend Ashley, she was a flyer. Actually, if you look at that cheerleading state champion 2007, she was on that team. Just great team. But that summer, they caught her the wrong way, and her liver pretty much exploded. She bled out internally. As a form of memorial, we collected here, actually outside this gym, where I wrote a poem. This is to commemorate her. My sister drew embellishing images on it, like the wings and like the beats to heaven. It's just really a really pure soul. Not to make you guys sad, but just like bring back memories of Ashley. She's a really great person.
one more. There's not a speech, it's a poem by one of our sophomores, Prince Xavier. Can we have a round of applause for that? I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous to come up here, but I wanted to participate in this and support my black culture. Just wrote this little poem slash speech about being black, about what it's like to be black, raising up in America. Alright. What does it mean to be black in America? Being black in America means our kindness is a weakness. Being black means our silence is speechless. Being black means our uniqueness is strange. Being black means our language is slang. Being black means our confidence is conceit. Being black means seeing our mistakes as defeat. Being black means our success is accidental. Being black means minimizing our intelligence to potential. Being black means our questions means we are unaware. Being black means our advancements are somehow unfair. Being black means our voice of concern is annoyance. Being black means if we stand up for ourselves, we are too defensive. Being black means if we don't trust them, we are too apprehensive. Being black means we are defiant if we separate. Being black means we are fake if we assimilate. Being black means our character is constantly under attack. Being black means having pride for our race makes us too black. Being black means labeling us as criminals. But what does it mean to actually be black in America? My daddy told me to be black in America, you have to endure white supremacy. You have to fear the police. To be American, you have the luxury of saying they should have complied. To be black in America, you have to hope that someone orders your compliance because you may no longer be about to defend yourself. Being a black in America means to grow up being aware of racism continuously. We was brought up in a difficult system. A system that feels like a game and we're just pausing. While we're raising a lot of people that's just trying to survive. But we don't want to survive. We just want to live. The government feeds us with weed and drugs and to give us the hope of opportunity. And we just end up gambling amongst each other to make a living. Thinking it's the way out. Thinking it's the call to our adventure. And we just, yeah. That's why in the streets you see a lot of kids trapping because they have nothing else to turn to and their dreams end up not coming true because of their skin color, which makes it hard for them. It's hard for them to. Which makes it hard for them to get a job because once they see a black kid, it automatically means they're hood and they're a problem. But what do you do when you have no one there to support your dreams and corroborate to make them a reality? You end up giving up on your dreams and take the only option to get the government left you, and that's selling dope or just being you. It's not our fault that we're viewed as monsters. We're not monsters, we're just miserable children. They label us as criminals, we're just kids in the system.
Last but not least, the students of BSU have prepared a fashion show. This fashion show represents different cultures and eras throughout Black history.
I'd also like to thank Mr. Fallon for speaking today, Mayor Luongo Kern, Superintendent Dr. Edward Vincent, and Brian